welcome back. I showed you guys how to do a foot, and now we're gonna make a handle. So if you weren't here on the day that we made the handle, no worries, we're gonna make one. So make sure that it is flipped up right now. Make sure that it is all smooth and blended out. You want this to be as blended out as you can before you put your handle. And then we're actually gonna set this aside. We don't need it for a little bit. And I want you to get out your scrap clay. So you should have a good block of clay in your scrap clay. This guy that we cut up from our good clay, and then we only cut it in half, and then the rest turned into scrap clay, but we still have one good thing of clay left. So making a handle is gonna relatively be the same thing that we just did with rolling a coil. We're just rolling a bigger coil. So look at this blocky shape. I'm gonna push in on these edges, just like I did when I showed you guys how to make the pinch pot, and just like I did when I showed you how to roll a coil. I'm gonna gently push in with my thumb on all these edges. So yes, it's still blocky, but now it has these round edges and not these sharp edges. And then same thing, I'm gonna kind of squeeze it in my hand a little bit, trying to round it out. And then I'm gonna kind of roll it in my hand a little bit and see if that helps. This is gonna be a little bit thicker, so it's gonna be a little bit harder to roll, which is why I'm trying to get it rounded out before. Okay. All right, so that's about what I have now from my block. I just pinched it out a little bit and shaped it. Now what I'm gonna do is try to roll again. So remember the same motion that we've been doing, where you start with your fingertips and go through to the base of your palm, back to your fingertips, all the way through to the base of your palm again. And again, I like to do it one-handed just so that I can hold the newspaper here. And then I'm just gonna gently roll. I'm not really adding any pressure yet. I'm just trying to get it round. All right, now I'm gonna start on one end with a little bit of pressure. We're not trying to make these super thin. That's kind of about the thickness that I want. For handles, I like to go about thumb thickness. So for foot, we did pinky. And for here, we're gonna do a thumb. Okay, so what I mean by that is I'm putting my hand in front of it, checking the thickness. If it's about the thickness of my thumb, the width of it, then we're good. All right. So I'm gonna try and shape this a little bit now. It's not as round as I would like it, but that's fine. It's still usable for a handle. And so now I'm just gonna try to make this even. I'm just gonna start pinching it and shaping it a little bit and trying to make it even everywhere. If you were able to just roll around one, great, you're good. Just skip this part. All right, so there we go. I just had to flatten it all because it started getting a little too flat. So I just kind of flattened it and made it all roughly the same evenness. All right, you're gonna need your paper clip out. Mine's somewhere here. Your paper clip that you pulled out. All right, so if you guys have this little crack on yours like I do, I want to cut that off. Again, I'm gonna cut at an angle, lay it here, and then cut at an angle. So that way it has a nice angle now for me to attach. This is gonna be the top of my handle. So that's gonna be this part here. And then I'm gonna try and shape it. And get it to the right size for my mug. And I'm gonna mark it on the bottom right here with my thumb because that's where I need to cut it now. So that way it's the right size and shape for me. Again, I'm just taking my paper clip and I'm gonna cut it at an angle at that mark. So that's what I mean by that angle. They're both going to the same angle, they're just kind of cut the opposite direction. So the reason that we do that is because you need to have a surface for your handle to attach to your mug. All right, that's really, really important. That's why I cut it at an angle and give myself this flat surface to attach to. If you were not able to attach it at an angle, no worries. What you can do is just start to pinch down right here and make your own angle for that. So you can kind of see it where it goes from handle to thinner, thinner, thinner. All you have to do is pinch that down. Same here. Start to just pinch and pull that down. And then now you have a flat surface. Before I attach it, I do want to get those cracks all blended out. Sorry, I'm really far away from my phone. But look at all those cracks. It's gonna be a lot harder to blend those out once they are on my handle or my mug. So I'm gonna blend them out now. I'm not gonna touch these parts though, because that's still really wet and I actually don't want them even that wet to attach. So I'm not gonna touch the two surface areas that we just cut that will be physically attaching to our handle or our mug. Sorry, I can't talk today. Use your finger or your sponge and get rid of any cracks that you have before you put it on. We can definitely do this when it's on too, but it just saves me some time if I do it now. All right, and then you're going to take it, then you're going to take it from here and you're going to attach it to your mug. Okay, thank you, sorry. So you're gonna figure out where you want to attach it to on your mug now. I recommend a weak spot if you have it, just because for me, it tends to hide my weak spots. So I'm gonna choose the thinnest spot, which looks like it's right here, where the little pinch got a little too hard, and I'm gonna attach it here. So I'm gonna shape it, make sure I got it the way I want, and then I'm going to attach it like that there. So, as you learned in the last video or last class, flipping and scoring is how you attach things together. So I'm gonna take my wooden skewer, and I'm gonna rough up the clay where I'm gonna attach it. I put lines in one direction, and now I'm gonna go back the other way and put lines in the opposite direction. Like that. So intersecting lines, that's called scoring. And then I'm gonna do it underneath where it's gonna attach. Same thing. I roughed it up for that top part that's gonna attach, and then that bottom part. And then now you have to score both things that are being attached together. You can't just score one side and expect it to attach. So I'm gonna score right here where that little flat part is that I made. Draw my lines in one angle, and then draw my lines in this angle. Okay, intersecting lines, great. And same thing on this bottom part, because that is also what is going to attach. All right, so as you can see, I got both sides scored, and they're going to go onto each other like that because you want scored parts touching scored parts. Now get a little bit of your slip, stir it up, and just dab it on. Again, make sure you're dabbing it on, not pulling it on, because you don't want to accidentally rub off those score marks. Okay. Now I'm going to actually set this on its side, so that way I can attach it more efficiently. All right, I'm going to get this top part where I want it, and then I'm going to push it down. Notice how I'm supporting the inside of my mug right here, and then I'm pinching with my thumb right here to seal it together. And now, before I get this bottom part on, I'm just gonna kind of straighten it and make sure it's in the right shape. Make sure that it's where I want it. All right, now I'm gonna support the inside still. I'm just gonna put my hand in a little more so I can cup it and support it right there as I'm pushing from the outside. So this hand is pushing, this hand is supporting. And then now you have a handle attached to your mug. So again, just make sure that you're seeing the slip come out of there. Make sure that you are pushing the pieces together to really seal them. All right, and now I'm just gonna keep working with this right here and blending. I'm gonna keep pushing to make sure that it's staying together. I'm also gonna push from the inside, make sure that they're sealed together. And now I'm going to blend. Get my sponge. I'm gonna take an edge of it and just start to blend where I attached to try and seal these pieces together and blend that area together so you can't even tell that we attached something there. The good thing about these cut up little sponges is they fit really nicely into these little cracks that we're making. And then I'm taking my finger and just kind of blending this part here. And then now, you can't even really see where that part was attached. It looked like it just came off from the mug the whole time. So that's what we're doing, is just working on that seamless blending so you can't tell where something was added and what was not added. And now I'm gonna do it to the bottom as well. All right, so that bottom part blended really easily, great, but that inside part right here is gonna be a little more tricky. So a little trick you can do is take your slip brush, get it wet in the water so that way there's no more slip on it. And I'm just gonna take that into these cracks and blend it out. All right, and then we're gonna let it kind of dry out a little bit. We're not gonna hit it anymore today. Once you have it attached, we just want it to stay and kind of harden a little bit. Mine's really wet just because I've been working in the same 2 days, unlike you guys who've been working day and day and day. So I'm gonna leave mine alone because if I keep working with it, it might not support itself, but there is our lovely little mugs that we are making. So by this point, you should have your pinch pot made, which is the mug pot, and then your foot added and your handle added. You're gonna put this in your project bag and store it the same way. Be very careful putting it in though, because the handle on it now might cause it to not fit in the bag as nicely. So I was gonna show you, but mine won't fit without struggling, so I don't wanna make you guys watch that. Just making sure you put it in your bag and you fold the bag under so that way no air gets in it, but we're not adding any more water to it. We're not spraying it and we're not drizzling water from here, no more. You're just putting it in your bag, closing the bag and laying it somewhere safe. Okay, and if you have any scrap clay, like I do, make sure that you just put it into your scrap clay ball, like that. That way you know it's bad clay, it's not clay that we're using anymore. All right, let me know if you have any questions.